All right, greetings everybody, and welcome to week number 7. That is right, week number 7 of your cultural heritage class, which is 9489. As always, I'm your professor, Dr. J.S.K. Austin, and what we are going to do today is a quick state of the course update, and then I'm going to just talk a very little bit about this week's subject matter, which is Indigenous concerns with cultural heritage and ownership. Again, I'm going to talk a very little bit about that because I think that the readings do a fantastic job with explaining anything that I would need to say. So let's go ahead and first just get into the state of the course updates, and there is not much to update there either. The main thing, as I said last week, is to make sure that you are figuring out who you're going to do your mini interview with. The mini interviews are again for for vocational guidance. So find a way, and one of you has already completed this, but yeah, find a way to find a cultural heritage worker, send them these questions, have them answer the questions, and then you can upload them in interview style. You can upload a video if you recorded yourself talking to them, or you can just upload a Q&A file strictly from email. However it works, you don't have to be fancy with this. This should, again, be 5 easy points, okay? But the main thing that I want to have happen is that after you complete this assignment, I do want you all to be able to look at each other's work and use that as vocational guidance and say, yeah, I'm getting this degree in library science, but these are some doors that may be open to me within the cultural heritage field, which library science is within that overarching field. Okay, so that's the main thing. We don't have another sync session until March 20th. So we've still got a few weeks on that, and we'll be joined by Andrea Jackson Gavin on that night, and she's going to talk about historically Black colleges and universities. Other than that, just keep the good work up with the discussion boards. I'm very pleased with how the discussion boards have been going. Keep up that good work, and you will be just fine. We don't have another major written assignment until April. Now, the last thing that I do want to say is, as far as state of the course updates is, okay, so, excuse me. All right, sorry, got a little distracted there. Okay, so the last thing that I want to mention as far as the course updates are concerned is that you do need to, if you have an idea for a heritage project, you do need to get those to me this week, okay? So if you want to do a heritage project instead of doing a final paper, get that to me. I did put in in one of the announcements to get that to me by the 29th. If you get it to me on Friday or even over the weekend, that's still cool, but you need to go ahead and get it to me now that we are approaching March. You need to get that information to me or get a proposal to me, and we can still work through it. It doesn't have to be finalized, your idea, by the end of this week, but you do need to have at least initiated talks with me by the end of this week, okay? And quite a few of you have already done this, so I'm very pleased. I do think that you all are going to do some great work with cultural heritage and assisting people in your communities very soon. So I am very pleased to see that. And with that said, we can go ahead and just talk very briefly about this week's subject matter. All right, so the last thing that I want to do here for this week is I do want to say a few words about our subject matter this week, which is the indigenous people's concerns with cultural heritage and specifically with ownership is what I'm going to be talking about in this video. And I won't be talking about it too long, 10 minutes at the most. So we should be out of here with a 15-minute video. All right. Now, what I want to do really, again, I think that the readings this week just kind of speak for themselves. So I don't want to belabor any points. I don't have anything to add or anything of that nature. But what I do want to do is say that we have looted cultural heritage all over the place, okay? We have it in museums throughout the West, whether it's Western Europe or Canada or the United States. And even at times, the victims of the looting can even be other European populations. A lot of times what happens is we kind of, and again, I don't want this class to be about white guilt because, quite frankly, the class can kind of take on that sort of that sort of dimension by itself. And I don't want my students to feel guilty. That's not what you all are here for. Like last semester, I appreciated my students a lot. I really did. I appreciated where their hearts were. But I had students last spring 2023 in this class who were really starting with this module and going forward. They were really experiencing some white guilt, and they were letting it get the best of them, and really just and it was getting to the point where I didn't even know if it was genuine, if it was really, oh, we feel this white guilt, or if it's, oh, we got a black professor, we got to make sure it looks like we're experiencing some white guilt. So I say all that to say, look, you don't have to have white guilt in this class. You know, there are things that are happening in the world. There are things that white people have perpetrated, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you are those white people. And that also doesn't necessarily mean that you are benefiting from all of the crimes that white people have perpetrated. And I do also want to add that all populations on this planet have perpetrated crimes against other races and against other tribes, other cultures, etc., etc. So let's get that out of the way. But what I wanted to do was just kind of show you really quickly, and I'll put this link in the message. I'll put this link in the check-in video message. What I wanted you all to just kind of see is that, and I'm focused specifically on the British Empire this time around, but the French looted, the Spaniards looted, a lot of people looted, okay? And there's a lot of stuff, again, in Western museums that do not belong to these people, that never belong to their cultures, okay? But I just wanted you to see some of the things that, this is just a very few of the things that the British have taken over the years. And what I want to really hit home here is that they have taken from like 6 of the 7 continents. Antarctica doesn't have a permanent human population, so I don't count Antarctica there. But if you look at these 10 things in this paper, you will see, or in this article, you will see that these come from all over the world. So Benin bronzes, Benin is the Kingdom of Benin. There is a country called Benin still in existence, but the Kingdom of Benin is where modern day Nigeria is now. And so these things were taken from Western Africa, where modern day Nigeria is. So you see that Western Africa has been looted. We see the Ottoman Empire, I believe in this case, or was it Greece? Okay. The British Museum has refused to give back, calling the removal from Parthenon a creative act. Okay, and just wanted to clarify again. So we've got Western Africa. This is Greece, incorrectly attributed to the Ottoman Empire, but these things were taken from Greece. So we've got Southern Europe, the Mediterranean. We've got Egypt in this case with the Rosetta Stone. So now we're talking about the Arab world, Egypt, and some people also consider that to be well, I make some distinctions between Egypt and sub-Saharan Africa, but we don't have time for that. Not for this video. Let's not even go there. This was taken from India, so now you see South Asia in the mix. And this is from, this is also from South Asia. Okay, so we're getting everywhere. We've got Africa, we've got Asia, we've got even Europe. These come from New Zealand, so now we're talking about the Australian, New Zealand sort of continent there. So as you can see, again, we are all around the world with this. This is one of the things I wanted you all to see. They actually took humans, as we all know, for slavery, but also human remains. This woman's remains, she was from what is now known as South Africa, but her remains were actually kept in a museum in France. She was taken by the British, but her again, her remains were displayed in France due to her backside there. And she was subjected to sexual assaults by her captors. And so just very sadistic with what's going on here, in my opinion. This is a whole other level of just denying someone their humanity. And she actually died, I know a bit of her backstory. She actually died of syphilis in her mid-20s. And that's just a horrible legacy to be taken from your homeland, to die in your mid-20s, and then to just have your remains treated as objects by colonizers. Just terrible, terrible story there. Again, scrolling down more, we've got Ethiopia, so Eastern Africa, and this is Sub-Saharan Africa, Eastern Africa there with Ethiopia. Things were taken from there. This was taken from China. Pekingese doll painting. That was taken from the Chinese. And then this was taken from South America, from Brazil. So they are hitting pretty much every continent there. I don't think we talked about North America, but certainly there are probably some things from indigenous North Americans that are in British museums, and we definitely know for a fact that there are many of those items in museums in the United States right now. And then what I did want to do was also show that, again, even because there's some, there had apparently been, and I don't know the whole history of this, as somebody who's studied history or anthropology may know this better than I do, but I know that there's, it's actually a rather recent phenomenon for like Greeks and Italians to be considered quote unquote white by people who are more Anglo-Saxon, right? So I did want to show that this has happened to Anglo-Saxons as well, because I did show that it happened to other Europeans. It happened to the Greeks, but I wanted you all to see that, yes, Ireland has been looted by the British as well. And Ireland is part of that whole Anglo-Saxon population, if you ask me, but they have not been spared either. And this is just one of many things, one of many Irish artifacts that have been stolen and taken by the British and are still being held by the British to this day, I believe. So I wanted to say all that to say, again, one recurring theme that you're going to see from me throughout this class is that I talk about, you know, yeah, we have differences, but we have similarities as well. And what cultural heritage can do is it can highlight how we're different because we produce different artifacts and different cultural heritage, but it's all still the same types of classifications. We might all produce different types of music, but we all produce music. We all might produce different types of artifacts, but we all produce artifacts, all of our cultures. And so another thing that I want to show is all of us have had our cultures looted and have had our artifacts looted by other forces. So I don't want that to sound like that was something that I think I needed to maybe drive home in the spring 2023 iteration of this course, is that, yes, even artifacts and materials made by white populations have been looted by other white populations, okay? So this is, again, something that we share, something that brings us together, or could bring us together, because it's a shared experience that we have had some of the delicate pieces of our cultures taken and displayed by people who do not necessarily fully understand the full context of those things that they've taken possession of. All right, so I am going to leave it right there. I am Dr. Jace, and displaying artifacts without the permission of the originating group and displaying them out of context, yes, that is a disgrace, says Dr. Jace. I will see you all next week. Take care and have a great one. I will see you all in the discussion boards. Thank you.